Alrighty, boys. I know y'all boys seen the title of this video, so I'm not gonna waste any more time. It's your favorite guru from Timu, and welcome to class, my nigga. I'm gonna be teaching y'all boys how to bottom tick and top tick the market with simple ICT, standard deviation, and volume profile strategy. So if you are a a little bit more advanced trader or intermediate trader, this is for you. If you're a beginner trader, it's a little bit more things that you gotta learn, but that's okay. Let's get into this video though. First off, I'm not just gonna tell y'all or show y'all anything without actually showing proof that I actually do this stuff. Right? I actually do this stuff. Now, this strategy is really good because it lets you take breakout trades. Like I took sales right here. I took sales, and y'all can see the little bottom tick being really ready to warm up for the day. But I took sales because this was a breakout trade, and then I ended up bottom ticking. If we go over here, ended up bottom ticking this right here. Now, peep. I called this out at 9:33. This is for my paid class. You do not have to join. This is an option if you want to join and get my call outs and get my other teachings that I got over here. I got all of this on the side. This is a complete option though. I teach for free. Look at what I'm doing. But everything else, if I talk about all the other stuff over here. But yeah, though, I ended up calling this out at 9:33, 164 for buys, right? And you can see I had this lined up, right? So boom. Now I had this set up for yesterday, and I'm going to break this entire trade down. Now first off, for sales today, sales were very simple. Yeah, like very simple. I knew, especially since government has been shut down, usually we get choppy overnight session. We get the chop overnight, and then next thing you know, we're going to be dumping. So I just really waited for us to break out of this range with speed. Like if we were coming down with speed, that's where I wanted to see us break out of this range. I entered in for sales, ended up catching sales to down here. That was like 2 racks. Then this trade right here, we're going to be breaking out of it, but breaking it down, my bad. So first off, let's break over the ICT stuff, then we go to the standard deviation, then the actual order flow, and I'm going to tell you how to actually tie these together and how I tie it together. Now, boom, bam, we got this 15 minute fair value gap right here. Perfect, you feel me? This is a nice little fair value gap. I like to see this, and we ended up pushing up higher after that, right? Broke through this over. This going to be very important. Now, we broke through this high. We were with speed right here, so we knew it's a lot of buying pressures. Buyers like this area. That's what you want to see, where buyers were most prevalent at, right? Next thing, we ended up getting was standard deviation. Now, this standard deviation was a little, no, I'm tweaking. I'm skipping a few steps. Next thing we got was SMT. ES ended up taking yesterday's New York session lows, as you can see right here. It took this low, but NASDAQ did not today, and we were nowhere near taking it. You feel me? So I'm thinking tomorrow we might come and try to stop hunt these, come down to hunt these. Maybe not, but that's what I expect. And then I'm pretty sure that that was it. That was it for buyers and stuff like that. Next thing was standard deviation. For ICT. Now we're on ICT, standard deviation. And as you can see, I dragged this one a little differently. I did it from London session all the way up to Asia's high, right? And now, why would I do that? Why did I do this thing right here? Now, the main reason I did this was genuinely because of the fact that we were both choppy in this range. Like, we stayed in this range. We didn't really go anywhere. So I was like, I might as well include both of these together. This was something new. I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing. I did it today, and it looked good. It lined up with all of my confluences. It made a lot more sense, right? Cool. Even if I didn't have the standard deviation, this trade just made sense in general. So if I didn't take this trade, it is what it is. But yeah, though, boom, we got that. Now going on to the order flow. Now this order flowing is a little bit more advanced, right? Now, like I told y'all boys, I like to trade levels and with volume profile, TPO charts, all that. I really have not been using the TPO. I just been using strictly volume profile. But yesterday, what I wanted to see is either we break through. Okay, so this was Wednesday. No, this was Monday. So yesterday was Wednesday. So on Tuesday, I wanted to see us break out of this. No, am I correct? I'm doing something wrong. This is Monday, Tuesday. This was last night, Wednesday. Okay, yeah, okay. Now that makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, yeah. So for Monday, on Wednesday, I wanted to see us either continue down with this low right here, continue down with it, or to push through it with speed. If it pushed through it with speed, then I was going to wait for us to come back down into this range, because as you can see, this range right here or this low right here was pretty relevant. Like, we stayed in this range. You can see from the day before that. So this on this Monday and Sunday we stayed in there, and then and this Tuesday we stayed in this range, and then even over here we stayed in this range, right? So I was like, okay, yeah, this range is pretty good. I'm just going to use this low right here because it's the most recent low. So I'm going to wait for this low to be played out, right? Or to play out. And I wanted to see us come back into this range and use these lows over here as balance. Now, another thing that we have right here, I don't know what I just did. Another thing we have right here is this balanced price range, right? Or this inverse fair value gap, whatever you would like to call it. If we go to that 1 hour fair value gap, the 1 hour time frame, you can see a lot more stronger right here. You feel me? Got this 1 hour fair value gap. Boom. Bam. And you can see we ended up breaking through this area with speed right here, right? So I knew that this was going to be a good range anyway, but if we go to the 5 minute, you can see it even more. But yeah, the main thing I knew, that my main takeaway was this low right here, this low, previous day low, previous value low. So on Tuesday, and then this shelf right here, right? We got shelves right here. We got this shelf right here. So this is like a edge that we usually come out and take. We got this edge right here, and as you can see, this was on Sunday and Monday. Then on Tuesday we came back into this shelf right here and chopped again, right? So I knew this level was pretty prevalent, even right here, right? Even right here, we came through, bounced off of it, and pushed back up. So I knew this area or this low would be pretty good. You feel me? Or this low right here would be pretty good. You feel me? So that's how I ended up calling this trade out for my my class yesterday. Now let's get into actually how to set these things up and how to actually use them, how I use them, okay? So we're going to delete these. Boom. Okay. First thing, right? Now, I talked about this a lot in my strategy vids, but we all know the market travels to balance, right? So all balance seems like, or all balance is when price is just consolidating or ranging. This is where price tends to, price tends to move something like this. We travel back to balance, and we can either use these balance right here, these balance lows as rejections, and then, we can balance like something like this. Then it get accepted, push up. You feel me? Get rejected, push out of it, use it as what's it called? Keep going up like that. So we typically make balance. And if you look on the market, that's really all we're doing. Like, we chop, go to where balance was at inside of the market. So we see we were choppy over here. We reject off of this, come back into this balance right here, reject, and then we make a new balance up here, right? You know what I'm saying? And we constantly just continuously do that. Even right here, we chop off this balance too. Let me see something real quick, actually. Boom, bam. Yup, to that low. That is crazy. Yeah, so that is overnight session too. So yeah, that's what I typically look for, right? I typically look for us to be choppy. To find how I find a good level is I make sure we were choppy, or had previous liquidity there, or we had previous balance there. Now, how I like to do this and how I like to find the best places is, especially when we at all-time highs like these. Like, when we at all-time highs, it's pretty easy to find balances and find continuation trades, because of the fact is most of the stuff is going to be new. Now, when you're down here in this range, you can see all of these different balances that we typically go to. Like, we got this balance from over, we got this, let's mark this out. We got this overnight session from right here, right? This it. Yeah, we got this overnight session this is on Friday, September 26th, and this is to this 10 days, this a whole 10 days behind, backwards, back in the back, you know what I mean. Previous 10 days, you can see we still come through and use this overnight trading session. You feel me? So it's like when you are in you in areas like this where you can find multiple levels and stuff like that, it's typically harder. It's typically harder to actually take those trades. But when you are up here in all-time highs, it's super duper easy. And this is what I've been using. So all I typically do is like the last, I say 5 days at most, really 3. Last 3 days, I get this fixed range tool, volume profile tool, and I usually drag it from Asia to London session. But if we end up running through these, like right here, we ended up running through the overnight session right here. If we run through the overnight session like this, once it loads up, like we ran through it right here, I usually drag it for the entire day. So I go all the way to the PM session, and then it gives me something like this. You know what I'm saying? It gives me this thing, and as you can see, this lines up with volume area high right here, and we ended up bottom taking it all the way up to the top. But yeah, if or you can do something like this, we still bottom ticket all the way to the top. So it's like I usually, if we run through the previous overnight session, I'm going to be dragging my volume profile, this fixed range tool, for the entire day or at least half of the day to give me a bigger, broader spectrum on the area, because we had a lot more volume, right? Days where we actually just came to the overnight session. I think this day right here, just came to the overnight session and respected it. Yeah, as you can see, we came right here to the overnight session, would have been able to bottom tick the high and catch it up. Now, okay, now that you know how to draw it out, like I said, I usually just drag it from Asia to London. That's the first thing I do. But if we end up running through it, then I might extend it a little bit. Now, once you learn how to do that, that's the easiest part. Now you need to know and understand what should you do when it gets to those highs or those lows, right? So right here, I wanted to see a bounce off of this high, this low right here. That's all I wanted to see, is a bounce right here. As you can see, this is also another previous session high right here. This was the point of control of another area. You can see this area was just pretty good. Like I knew we were going to reverse because we had previous volume over here in this area, right? So what you want to see is either you want to see us say, like for today, we come to this balance right here, push back up, right? It's that simple. Probably get chopped at these highs. You can see we're starting to get chopped. We started to chop over here at these highs over here, and then you want to see it bounce off of it. Let's delete this. You want to see it come through, bounce off of it. We might get chopped at the point of control over here, choppy a little bit, or at the highs, and then you want to see us push, come back to this high over here, and then push up higher like that. Something simple. That's the first thing you want to see, us run through it and then balance inside of it, right? Or you can see us use the first high as a balance as well and bounce off of it as well like that. So this high can be used as a retracement area as well. Now, the next thing you want to look for, if we do break through this range right here, we know that we're in for sales, right? We know that we're getting sales. So what you can do is wait for a pullback to this high over here and then catch the sales back down to this value area low over here. And you could have easily caught sales right here. But just using that method, I actually tried to get in for sales. This is a funded account, so it's not going to show my executions, but because it's a new day. But you can see over here that we do end up going straight back to the value area high once we get this pullback to the value area low. Once we get the pullback to this value area high right here, and you could have caught buys right there as well. You get what I'm saying? So once we do break through this area, this is like the breakthrough trade. You can either catch sales right here. You could have caught this when you was breaking through it right here. Could have caught sales and caught it right here. Or you could have waited for the pullback to bounce up, because more than likely we're going to balance somewhere and come back to this high over here and push back down, right? Now, another thing you can wait for is I just went over the one where you bounce up. You can just run through it and then use this area low over here to bounce off of. It's really a few things that you can do. It's not too many things that you can do. So that's what makes it really simple. You just need to wait on a reaction right here, right? You just need to wait, like, okay, once we hit this low, are we reacting well? And does it line up with any other confluences? Right here, this lined it up perfectly with a 30-minute fair value gap. Perfectly with a 30-minute fair value gap. And we had standard deviation. So it made a lot of sense to wait for this trade to come down to this area and then push up off of it, right? So of course it needs to make sense. But yeah, I usually just wait for, I can get standard deviation as well to line up with my areas. But like sometimes standard deviation, like especially at all-time highs, standard deviation doesn't get used like that. Like not no more. Like when we were trading probably this summertime or before then, like in May or April or May, we can use standard deviation because it was ranging like that. But not all the time now, since we're at all-time highs and since the world is going through a lot of changes right now, especially with the government and stuff like that. So my standard deviation tool just gives me a real area of where I should look for. It just tells me, okay, you can probably look for reversals in this area, or you can probably look for continuations in this area. But other than that, I usually just mainly trade, regular ICT and then incorporate order flow with it. Boom, bam, catch a buy trade or wait for a breakout trade. Once I get that breakout trade, you can, what's it called? And it's another few things you can do. Right here, we break through it like we're doing right now. We come back, break through it. Now you can use this high over here as a support, bounce back off. Like as you can see, we did it right here. We ended up right here. It's shaved off a little bit, but we ended up bouncing off of it, coming back up. It was minor, but we did end up doing it. So yeah, so it's a lot of ways you can use it, but you want to just look at these areas as support and resistance zones. That's how I find it, my support and resistance zones, and then I just wait for a breakout or a acceptance, a breakout or a retest. So if we come through and we break out, I can enter in for sales or buys. If we retest it, we just retesting it, I can continue off with what we're actually doing. So it's that simple. But I do have a meeting that I have to go to, so I do help y'all boys in the long run. God loves y'all though. Catch y'all another video. Peace out.